The boy spent the holidays at the home of his uncle, auntie and fat cousin. The boy found an elf in his room who enjoyed beating himself up, and the elf told him not to return to school. But because the boy wanted to go back to school, the elf magically threw a cake on a lady visitor to the house, and the boy got the blame. The uncle locked the boy in his room so that he wouldn't be able to go back to school. However, he didn't count with the fact that the ginger kid would rescue the boy in a flying car. The uncle attempted suicide, but was unsuccessful. When they flew back to Ginger's house, Ginger's mum shouted at her son, and also Ginger's little sister fell in love with the boy, though he wasn't interested. Little did he know that they would eventually marry. The Ginger family and the boy attempted to teleport via the fireplace to some street, but the boy ended up in some back alley. There he met the half-giant, who took him to where he should be. There he found Ginger and the SWAT, and they went to buy school books, one of which was about, and written by, their new teacher. The new teacher was a bit of a fool, in fact a real fool, and whilst in the bookshop they also met Blondie and his sneaky blonde father, who gave Ginger's sister a weird book. The Ginger family and the boy then went to the train station. Everyone except the boy and Ginger managed to pass through the bridge. They decided to get back to school by way of the flying car. When they arrived, they met an aggressive tree which demolished the car and Ginger's wand. They ran to the school, but they were met by the mouldy caretaker, who took them to see the greasy head teacher, the professor with the bun, and the bearded headmaster. They got away with everything though, and they were able to start their lessons. During herbology lesson, they learnt about screaming roots. And some annoying little kid with a camera started to bother the boy. One evening, the boy heard voices in the walls, which neither Ginger nor the SWAT could hear. The voices led him to the mouldy caretaker's cat, which had been turned into stone. The caretaker thought the boy had done it and wanted to kill him, but he was saved by the bearded headmaster, who informed everyone that the cat could be cured with the juice from the screaming roots. During lessons, the professor with the bun informed everyone that the founder of the greenhouse built a secret cellar many years ago that could only be opened by his true heir. The SWAT was convinced that the heir was Blondie. She made a potion which would transform them into Blondie's friends. During a flying football match, the boy was hit by a black ball and broke his arm. The fool teacher tried to help, but his spell was rubbish and the boy's arm turned into rubber. Oops! The boy had to stay in the hospital, and during the night he was visited by the elf, who let it slip that the cellar had been opened 50 years ago. He then disappeared, and at that moment the bearded headmaster and the professor with the bun came in. They had the annoying camera kid with them, who had been turned into stone. When the boy was released, he assisted with the making of the potion in the girls' toilets. They were there because no one else would go there on account of the snivelling girl ghost who lived there. Incidentally, she fell in love with the boy, but again, he wasn't interested. The fool and the greasy head teacher formed a dueling club. The greasy head teacher was good, but the fool was rubbish. Then the boy and Blondie had a go. Blondie conjured a snake, which wanted to hurt a student from the yellow house. The boy spoke to the snake in a weird voice. Everyone thought that he was telling the snake to do bad things, but in reality, he was telling it the opposite. No one realised this, and they thought the boy was the heir. One evening, the boy found a ghost, and a student from the yellow house turned into stone. At last, the potion was prepared, and the boy and the ginger kid changed into Blondie's friends. It didn't work on the SWAT, however, and she turned into a cat. The boy and the ginger kid were with Blondie, and he said that he wasn't the heir, and that 50 years ago, a girl died. The boy found a weird book which belonged to a weird kid, and when he opened it, he went back in time 50 years, and he saw how the weird kid accused the half-giant of being the heir, and that his pet monster killed the girl. The pet climbed out of a chest. It was a massive spider.
Spider! Spider! I can't let you go. They'll have your wand for this giant. You'll be expelled. Giant! Giant! Wow!
The professor with the bun informed the boy and the ginger kid that the SWAT had been found turned into stone. The boy also realised that someone had taken a weird book.
Where is the book?
The boy and the ginger kid visited the half-giant. The bearded headmaster also arrived with an important official who arrested the giant. Blondie's father also arrived, and he relieved the headmaster of his duties. Before he went, the half-giant told the boy and the ginger kid to follow the spiders. So they headed off to the forest after the spiders. They came to a place where they found a giant talking spider. He explained to them that he wasn't a monster, and also that the half-giant isn't the heir. He also mentioned that he was hungry and that he wanted to eat them. And all of a sudden the flying car arrived and saved them. Later the boy realised that a snake was to blame, and that the girl who died 50 years ago is the same girl, the ghost girl, in the girls' toilets, and that the entrance to the cellar is in there. The boy and the ginger kid overheard the teacher say that the heir had kidnapped Ginger's sister, and that they send the fool in to save her. The fool wanted to run away, but in the end the boy and the ginger kid talked him into going into the cellar with them. They went to the toilets and got over many obstacles.
Obliviate!
But it was only the boy who reached the end. In the cellar he found Ginger's sister, who was fast asleep, and with her was some weird kid. The weird kid is the evil boss when he was a student. He called the same snake which tried to kill that student before. But all of a sudden a red bird and the talking hat fly to the boy's assistance. The bird did something to the snake's eyes. The boy then pulled a sword from the hat and stabbed the snake with it. The snake died. The boy then destroyed the weird book with one of the snake's teeth, and this also destroyed the weird kid. Ginger's sister woke up and everyone headed back to the castle. The SWAT was changed back. The bearded headmaster was reinstated, the half-giant came back to the school, and the boy realised that the elf was Blondie's dad's slave, and he freed him by way of a smelly sock. Yay! The end.